It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report.
Hi everyone, it's a great time of the year to go fishing in our region because right now it is crappie time in the Southwest. Welcome to your Southwest Outdoors Report, and on today's show we talk about where the crappie are located now and where you can catch some in the next couple of weekends. The crappie have just about finished their spawn up against the banks and shorelines and shallow water around our region. They're transitioning back to deeper water where they're going to stay for the summer. And on today's show, we attempt to answer the question of where they're located right now and how you can catch those, what techniques you can use. To help us do that, behind me, you see beautiful Lake Fork, Texas. Lake Fork, known for many years as one of the best bass fisheries in our region, churning out bass as big as 15 pounds just in the last 6 or 8 months. But on today's show, we explore just how good a crappie lake Lake Fork can be. And while we're out doing that, we're also swinging you around our 4-state region for your very latest fishing reports from our expert team of reporters in the field. So, right now we're going to launch the NITRO Z8 out into Lake Fork. And in the meantime, we're taking you back to the FSN studios. Here's Julie with your weekend plan.
Great news if you're headed to the lake for the weekend. The Solunar tables are predicting the best conditions of the month for Saturday and good conditions for Sunday. Saturday's peak activity will start at 6:10 in the morning and at 7 a.m. on Sunday. Expect sunrise to take place at 6:20 with sunset happening at 8:30. And we'll have a crescent moon 40% illuminated in the evening. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the Southwest. And I'll have this week's Whataburger Ask the Pro question with Kevin Van Dam. Stay with us.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Mercury, the official outboard of the Southwest Outdoors Report for 11 years running. By Academy, right stuff, low price, every day. And by Tracker Boats, fish the finest.
There he is. Got him. Oh, good crappie. Good crappie right there. Up you come. Hey, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to work. Your Southwest Outdoors Report. Springtime, late spring, actually going into summertime now. Crappie fishing. There's your good, solid Lake Fork crappie to start things off with. Glad you're along with us. Hey, if I'm going to help you find and catch crappie, like that one, which by the way is going in the live well. Now, if I'm going to help you catch some crappie next few weekends, very late spring, headed into the summertime, I need to get you in the right location. I'm going to show you right back in here. You see all those docks back there? That's the shoreline in a creek running back around that corner. That's where those crappie went to spawn, right up against the shore. Once they finish that, they come back out here. They get in 6 to 10 feet of water, and that fish came right around the outside limbs to these big old cedar trees sitting right out here off the mouth of that creek. This is what I call a transition zone for crappie. Finish spawning, they transition to here. Eventually, they're going to wind up out in 15 to 30 feet of water in bigger trees out on the creek channel and out in deeper water. But right now, they're in the 6 to 10 feet of water just outside the spawning areas. Those are the places you need to be looking for this time of the year. All right, let's get started with your fishing reports and go to Oklahoma where Gary Dallahan is standing by.
Hey, we're finally getting the weather squared away here in Oklahoma, and you know what? The fishing is getting pretty typical for this time of year as well. Coming out of the Memorial Day weekend, we've got all this warm weather going on. We've got more wind than we like to have for some fishing conditions, but still the fish are starting to do what they should be for this time of year. We're coming into that late spring, early summer time frame where it is more predictable to target a lot of the fish and what they're doing in these places across the state. Now, Eli Smith was joined by his 2 nephews on Fort Gibson Lake this past week. They were targeting white bass, fishing the main lake areas, fishing the humps, the old road bass, because there was flow coming through the lake. They had quite a bit of current going on. about 15 to 20,000 CFS. When that happens, it does concentrate those white bass in the places you want them to be, makes them pretty predictable. Drop that jigging spoon down there on top of those humps, the old road beds, 12 to 16 foot of water, you're going to catch them. We've talked about it before. Use that yo-yo type motion to catch them when you're fishing that jigging spoon. Also, they caught several fish doing the same thing but with a Bobby Garland baby shad. Dropping that bait down there right to the bottom, but instead of jigging it like a yo-yo, holding that bait pretty still but shaking the rod tip aggressively. Doing that, you're going to catch a lot of white bass when they're in that type of situation. The guys also spent part of the afternoon targeting crappie along the banks. There were quite a few males up shallow, some extremely shallow in a few inches of water, but the majority of them came on the first break line off of the shore about 2.5 to 4.5 feet deep. Catching those both on the Bobby Garland baby shad as well as the Garland slab doctor. Great time to be fishing, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Research shows that getting kids outdoors makes them happier, healthier, and smarter. So one school district near Houston is making that happen. Elementary students are getting angler certified and competing in an annual fishing derby as a way to motivate kids in school and bring families together. In Katy, Texas, there is a school district that loves fishing.
It's very important to this school and to the schools that participate in this program.
From high school fishing clubs,
I love fishing, so I like to come out and help kids fish,
to the faculty themselves.
Those are our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our office staff, our clerical staff.
We are angler certified.
Fishing is catching on.
This is one of our biggest events. We had 350 people RSVP for it.
Hutzel Elementary holds their annual fishing derby to have fun and improve grades.
But the most important thing is that when children feel connected, be it through fishing, through athletics, through fine arts, when they feel connected, the research shows they perform better.
14.5 inches.
Parks and Wildlife stocks ponds like this one all across the state as part of their neighborhood fishing program.
Watching those real little ones run with a catfish this big like a Subway sandwich trying to run back to get it away just brought a smile to my face.
Every student leaves with a prize and a memory.
My mom was like us to fish because it's something that we get to do together.
I took a biology course last year, so yeah, I can sort of relate to what we're doing right now.
And other schools are taking notice.
We have other schools calling us that is starting a program called Empowering Young Men. So they're starting a fishing program there as well.
You have fun?
Yeah!
This is the best school day ever, right? Yeah!
For Texas Parks and Wildlife, this is Lydia Saldana.
There he is. Oh, good one. Good crappie. I might have to lift this crappie right here. Got him. All right. Hey, there's another one for you. We're at Lake Fork today talking about transition crappie, moving them out from spawning beds out where they're headed in the summertime. And the next thing I need to talk to you about is cover. Today, where I'm finding the fish, and I've caught several, got a few in the live well back there, is they're out on the outside branches of these cedar trees. What'll happen is as these cedars rot, I guess these are cedar trees, but as they rot, the limbs are gonna fall off and they'll lay on the floor of the lake right under the tree. And a lot of folks think you have to get up there and fish right around the base of the tree with that long Mr. Crappie rod that I've got, but you don't have to do that, especially today. While these fish are out roaming, they're gonna be out on these outer branches, so you need to drop it to the bottom, again, 6 to 10 feet, feel for those branches, gently ease it up, and that's typically where these fish are gonna be. They'll also be on rock, little rock piles, grass beds, man-made brush piles like the Corps of Engineers, the Oklahoma Wildlife Department, Texas Parks and Wildlife put out, but any kind of cover offshore, 6 to 10 feet of water down on that cover is where these fish are gonna be. There's a nice crappie for you right there. In the live well they go today, and right now, we are taking you to Louisiana where Cajun Phil is waiting.
Hey friends, this is old Cajun Phil here with your Fox Southwest Louisiana fishing report. Hey, let's start off with Crappie Basin. Talked to several anglers that went down there. They said, Cajun, the bass are hitting. They're hitting spinnerbait as far as brim. They said you catch brim, white perch, whatever you want to throw. They're catching them mostly on the crickets. Over on Toledo Bend, talked to Joe Jocelyn. He said, Cajun, right now we're catching some good bass. He said, matter of fact, one of the lady anglers that he had on his boat caught an 8.5-pound bass. She caught a Carolina rigging and about 15 to 18 foot of water using a bass assassin lizard. They did really well. As far as saltwater action, wow, is all I can say. If you want to go to the Gulf of Mexico right now, the best place to go is down around Venice. Talked to several anglers there. They're catching tuna, amberjack, and wahoo. I talked to Captain Chris Fallerman. He was down at the Grand Isle. He said he caught limits of speckled trout every day, and they were big. They were 2 to 4 pound trout. He caught them on topwater baits right off the shore. Over in Delacroix, I talked to Captain Chris Pike. Chris said, Cajun, right now, he said, the last 3 days I've caught over 100 redfish. He's catching all of those on plastic. He said the redfish is just on fire in Delacroix. And folks, I just left the Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charters. I'm on my way home right now. Captain Kevin came in today with a limit of really nice redfish. And I tell you what, friends, right now, fishing is on fire down here in Louisiana. If you want any information on any of the areas, you know my phone number. Till next time, this is old Cajun Phil. Said happy fishing, and may God bless, and we go see you folks next week.
There's one. Feels like a good pull. Oh, good crappie. Black one. All right, there's one more for you right there. Hey, we're going to a break, but as we do, I want to mention that when we come to Lake Fork, we always stay at the Hidden Lakes Hunting Resort, which is located just a couple of miles off the east shore. It's a great place where you can go bird hunting for a half day and then come crappie or bass fishing for a half day as well. You can get lots more information on the members only page of our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Great food, great accommodations, and great bird hunting at Hidden Lakes Hunting Resort. One more goes in the live well, and we'll be back to Fork for more crappie fishing right after this. How about that black looking dude there?
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Lubes, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. And by Whataburger, just like you like it.
Got him. Ooh, that's an old black colored crappie right there. Not big, but all right. Hey, there's one more for you. Welcome back, everybody. Catching some good crappie today. Lake Fork has got some really big crappie in it. There have been some legit 3-pound crappie caught on this lake. These are all just good average keeper size fish. That one's probably 11, 12 inches, something like that. We are putting them in the live well today. I'm going to slip this one in here. I want to mention a couple of things here about tackle. I'm going to show you a little more about the specific gear at the end of the show on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff. But for right now, suffice to say that when you're fishing in this kind of stuff right here, this kind of thick timber, you're going to need to go with a little heavier tackle. I really like to fish with my ultralight crappie rod, a little spinning rod, cast out at them, but you just can't do that in here. Everything in here is going to be vertical fishing if you're coming to Fork and going to fish this timber. So I've got my Mr. Crappie Slab Shaker 10-foot crappie pole, Wally Marshall reel on it. I've got a little heavier line. I've got Stren Original. I think this is 10-pound line on it, which is bigger than I normally use, and I'll show you the bait. That's a Bobby Garland bait later, but you're just going along here and dropping it along the trunks of these trees, and then as I mentioned earlier, out where the branches fall down on the bottom, that's where these fish are going to be. But anytime you're fishing in cover, whether it's grass, rock, docks, any of that kind of thing, you're going to need to go with a little heavier tackle, or crappie, good size crappie, will break you off. Let's check in right now with Brian Hughes, see what's going on in the rest of Texas.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by CJ's Bait Company. Now they have everything you need for catfishing, so check out cjsbait.com. Now, speaking of catfishing, over on Lake Fork, they have great catfishing in about 12 to 18 feet of water over on the Coffee Creek side of the lake near the channels. Drop your CJs down for some good catfishing. Bass can be caught on top waters, spinner baits, spots, and of course your assassin type baits. Now, moving over to the west and the south a little bit, you'll find Lake Buchanan, which is a great striper fishery. Look for big schools of stripers over the main river channel. It may be deep water, but they will only be about 25 to 35 feet down. Find the schools of bait fish, drop your spoons and slabs, and you'll hook up with the Buchanan stripers. And finally, down on Choke Canyon, bass fishing going very well right now. Again, a post-spawn, topwater, spinnerbait, spot type pattern. You'll want to use natural colors to emulate the shad that they're chasing in this post-spawn period. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by cjsbaits.com. Now, let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. You'll find him on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report. Whether you fish or hunt in Texas, you should be reading Texas Outdoors Journal. Once again named the best major outdoor publication in the Lone Star State. We'll tell you where to go, what to expect once you get there, and how to do it a little bit better. Pick up a copy of Texas Outdoors Journal on newsstands or subscribe securely at the website on the screen. Well, anglers are having to contend with persistent winds. The good news is the winds have been fairly consistent out of the southeast. The bad news is they've been strong, and that not only roils the water, it also pushes more water into the back bays and scatters fish. Now along the middle coast, anglers have taken refuge behind Matagorda Peninsula and Island, St. Joe, Mustang, and North Padre Islands. Grab a chart and look for protected areas as fish are working these shorelines. Out of Port O'Connor, the back lakes have produced. Around Matagorda, the grass beds, guts, and pockets are producing quality speckled trout. Soft plastics, live bait, or plastics under a rattling float and topwaters early have all caught some solid fish. Upper coast anglers are also dealing with the wind. When it moderates, Sabine and Galveston have seen some good bird activity. However, most of the activity is coming from protected shorelines. On the lower coast, Long Bar has scattered trout, so does from south of Holly Beach to Cullens. Gaswell Flats has also been good for trout and redfish on most baits. On June 1st, the red snapper season opens in federal waters and will run through June 17th. There's a 2-fish bag limit with a 16-inch minimum. A circle hook must be used, and you need a venting tool aboard your boat. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By MotorGuide Trolling Motors, engineered for anglers. And by NITRO Performance Bass Boats, pure performance.
Welcome back everyone, it's time for our Whataburger Ask the Pro, your chance to ask for advice from professional anglers. This week's question is from Gary in Tulsa, who asked, what are the best conditions for topwater lures? For the answer, let's ask 7-time Angler of the Year, Kevin Van Dam.
Hey, I think everybody loves to throw topwaters, you know, and for me, it's a bait that is more of a seasonal bait than probably most people think. You know, the best time of the year, I think, for topwater fishing is the post-spawn period. You know, when the bass come up and they're starting to get on beds and, you know, swimming around, you can catch them with a lot of different baits. But boy, when they start to come off, and when they're starting to guard fry, and those females are kind of in that post-spawn funk, that's when a topwater's at its best. You know, a buzz bait, a stick bait like this, phenomenal time for it. And for me, it's all the way through the fall. I like to throw them in a lot of situations that most people don't. To me, one of the best times is in the middle of the day on a bright sunny day. You know, if you got bass around cover, a stick bait like this or a buzz bait is a great way to pull them up. So don't think it's just first thing in the morning, late in the evening, and only in the springtime. Topwater's all season long.
Thank you, Kevin. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, follow the Ask the Pro link, and submit your information. Now here's Barry with our winner of the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner on your Coast to Catch of the Week is Mike Haas of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. He's showing off a very large 18-pound hybrid striped bass he caught in the lower Illinois River, southeast Oklahoma. If you'd like to enter the contest and have a chance to win a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses like Mike does on this week's show, go to our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. On the right-hand side of the screen is the Costa Catch of the Week box. Click in there. You'll need to join to become a member of our fan club. It's free, and you fill out the form, send us your photo, and you could win a brand new pair of your choice of any Costa frame or lens styles. And you can see all of those, the front page of our website. Click on the Costa logo. That will take you to the Costa website where you can see all of the frame and lens styles, including the fantastic 580p glass lens and this month's frame style of the month, Salt Break. Next up, it's time for the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, and I have laid out on the front deck of the boat the gear that we used to catch most of these big slab crappie on this week's show. You're looking at the Wally Marshall Slab Shaker 10-foot crappie rod, easily identifiable by the yellow color on the lower end of the rod. And I've got the Wally Marshall crappie reel on it, spooled up with 10-pound test Stren original line. And we caught most of these fish on the Bobby Garland Moglo jig head with the Bobby Garland Slab Slayer body in an electric chicken color. On this week's Stuff That Matters, I remember my granddad talking about doing business on a handshake. A handshake deal was when two people agreed to do something without being forced to and without backing it up on paper. We've lost some of that in today's litigious society. Most everything we agree to is spelled out in great detail in contract form, and many people don't uphold their end of the agreement without being forced to. I don't like it. I want to go back to doing things with old-fashioned honesty and integrity. And you know what? That begins when one person, one man, or one woman decides to uphold their end of any bargain simply because they said they would. It begins when one person tells the truth, pays their taxes, doesn't cheat the system, and provides a fair product for a fair price. I'm here to say I want to go back to that way of doing business. Would you join me? Hey, don't forget that next week's episode will be on Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. We'll be on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Set your DVR for that airing. It never changes. The latest episode of our show is always up on the front page of our website in full HD, and you can go straight to the past episodes of our show on the YouTube channel. Just click on the YouTube logo, and you can see everything from last year and this year and all the how-to videos on the YouTube channel. And you can see more news, videos, photos on our Facebook page. Click on the Facebook logo on the front page of our website. From Lake Fork, Texas, home of some great crappie fishing, we'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.